Ladies and gentlefish, it's time to officially put the first ever person on Fraud Watch. Now, there's going to be a lot of people I put on Fraud Watch, okay? And unfortunately, this just has to be the first, but this person deserves to be on Fraud Watch. Especially what just happened recently. There have been talks over the past 2 or 3 months about this person possibly going on Fraud Watch, but now I think it's officially time to put this person on Fraud Watch. And that person, without a doubt, is Hally, the coach of Spirit. Now you're probably wondering, the coach of Spirit? I feel like everyone always talks this guy up as he's like this amazing coach, and you'd be right. A lot of people do talk him up, but we finally, these past few months, have been seeing the cracks show. And I think this goes way further back than just the past 2 to 3 months. But let's start off with how we started to think about this guy being on Fraud Watch. So first of all, let's go to a certain event that started all this talk. IEM Rio 2026. But why? Why was this event any different from the other events that Hally has coached at? Well, first of all, Spirit got second. But there's something even bigger that was going on here. And here's the difference. You see, Hally missed IEM Rio and the next event they played, PGL Astana, with a health issue. And who replaced them? It was none other than Sotfik, which was actually the academy coach when Donk and Zontix were on the academy team. So he was kind of like the guy who even played with Donk on Spirit Academy for a time when Donk first stepped onto the academy team. Then he transitioned to their coach, then they brought on people like Kyosuke. All these other guys who are now winning majors have been under this guy, Sotfik. So he comes in, he's their academy coach, he's gonna like take over the reins of these two events. Nothing too big, right? But then guess what happens? They overperform like shit, okay? Before IEM Rio, no one had Spirit like up high, right? Now, the stats will tell you otherwise. If you look at stats about Spirit and all things like round wins, opening kill percentages, all these kind of advanced statistics, they're going to be up high, right? Even for the past like 3 months, 6 months, 8 months, 12 months, whatever you want to like section it off by. They are by far always up at the top or second with these sort of statistics, right? And you'd think with this high of a level of play, surely they're winning a ton of events. They're not, right? They have been failing miserably before IEM Rio. There's talks about benching Tanir and maybe, switching out Zontix because clearly they're not working very well. And then they come into IEM Rio and they look like a completely different team. People were shocked by how they played. And of course they lose to Vitality, who, were in their era run right here. Still kind of going on to their era. Now I think their era is a little bit over, but we'll get to that a little bit later in the video because this is about Spirit and not Vitality. So we have IEM Rio, and what happened in IEM Rio is we finally got to see these players play how they wanted to, in kind of a loose, who cares, go shoot attitude. They don't have pressure from their coach because no one really has expectations for them to do anything major, because everyone still in their mind believes that Hally is the guy. Hally's this guy who brings all of Spirit together and makes this team what they are. Without Hally, this team would be nothing, right? Obviously people know about Donk, but without Hally, the rest of the team would just crumble and it would just be Donk. Wrong. Because then they go to their next event, PGL Astana, and guess what happens? At PGL Astana, they fucking win it all. And not only that, they beat Falcons in the final. And look at this. Donk drops a 1.52 and Tanir drops a 1.29. Before this, to catch Tanir before IEM Rio or PGL Astana dropping a 1.29 was like catching a fucking Bigfoot in the wild. This guy turned into complete and utter dog shit when he got the Spirit for some reason. They pick him up from Heroic and all of a sudden they play him on these pussy ass positions, okay? And when you watch these two events, what you notice is that Tanir and all these other guys are able to actually play how they're supposed to, because Tanir isn't just the guy who you just sit in a fucking position on an anchor and let him just sit in bathrooms on Overpass. That was something that you saw totally different with how they played at Overpass, because on Overpass he played bathrooms and all he would do is sit in the bathrooms, wait for someone to peek mid, And then you go and watch him on heroic play bathrooms, and he takes risky pushes. That's the kind of player Tenier is. He's like an instinctual kind of guy. He's not this like by the book player. He goes off of his instincts and what he thinks is going on, and he uses his game knowledge and just his knowledge of how pro teams play to basically win the round. And I'm going to kind of put it into a little bit of manga kingdom terms, okay? I'm going out of the greatest fiction ever fucking produced in our lifetime in human history, the Kingdom manga. In the first ever battle, if you ever read Kingdom, you have the biggest battle to date. It's between Dukyo of Kin and Go-Kei of the Wei faction. And this is Shin, who is our main character's first battle. Basically, we're learning about these guys, but the short end of the stick is Dukyo is an instinctual general who sees the fire of battle and goes where he finds those flames sparking to create openings in the enemy's defenses, while Go-Kei is actually a more like by the book general who just goes off of strategy and what he's learned in military school. And it's two different kind of thinking on the battlefield going against each other, and that's kind of what Hally has fucking Tenier doing. He is making him Go-Kei as what he actually is Dukyo. This guy does not play like this, and then Hally just makes him play like this, and he just tanks, because there's a saying in pro Counterstrike right now, which is your time on liquid doesn't matter, right? Because most of the time guys go from their other team, they join liquid, and they turn to shit, right? Yukindar, Nerds, like there's so many different examples, and people just say your time on liquid doesn't count. I'm starting to think that your time on Spirit doesn't count, because we've seen these guys leave Spirit and perform even better. A good example of this is Zwei on Perivision. Besides like the final map of Zwei's career in a Spirit jersey against Falcons at the Major, this guy looked terrible in a Spirit jersey. He was supposed to be this up and coming CIS talent from Namiga who Donk praised, and all of a sudden he gets in the team Spirit and he looks like shit, okay? He was just fragging out at Austin on Namiga. They give him one season on the team and they cut him. And this isn't just a new issue, okay? Because the issue we have here is, what has Hally actually done before Donk, right? Let's look at his teams as a coach. So we got Spirit, let's see. Okay, he's got some stuff. February 2022, Donk joins around the beginning of 2024 to the main roster. So let's see if he has any trophies prior to that. Okay, Blast Bounty 2025, Season 2 Finals, no, 2025. IEM Cologne 2025. PGL Astana 2025. Perfect World Shanghai Major 2024, we remember that one. Bet Boom Dacha Belgrade Season 2, let's see this one. Okay, 2024, so Donk's on the team still. Blast Premier Spring Final 2024. IEM Katowice 2024. We all know that one. That's when Donk broke the scene. And Bet Boom Dacha 2023. Let's see. Was Spirit on the... Okay, so Donk was on here, okay? I thought Donk joined a little bit later. Yeah, so all of this guy's trophies is from Donk. And what we've seen from when Donk joins the team is it's the same fucking T-side. Donk go kill. Donk go kill. That jab-bitch meme wasn't a meme, because that's what Hally does. He just tells Donk to go kill. And we've seen this happen time and time again, and it's time to finally point the finger at Hally, because at first, everyone pointed the finger at Chopper, because Chopper's fragging potential was shit, okay? He was basically like the Russian Kerrigan. What they thought was, okay, Chopper, he's very uncreative. Now, I'm thinking it's Hally. We got a new fucking team lead in here, Magix, and it's the same fucking shit. And what has this guy actually proven? I swear to God, this guy has not accomplished anything. All of these trophies is from Donk, and every time they win, it's because of Donk, in my opinion. Okay, this guy would be nothing without Donk. Was Spirit Academy winning anything when he was on there? No. Espada? Oh man, Espada, dude, that juggernaut of Espada. No. He gets the Spirit first like year and a half, 2 years. What the fuck does this guy do? Who the fuck was even on Spirit? No one even knew about this team until Donk joined. They were in the bottom pits of hell, playing players like Chiron and Patsy. Nothing was working. Yeah, they made, the IEM Rio Major. And yeah, they made, Antwerp. They didn't do shit, though, at Antwerp or fucking at Rio. The second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth fiddle in the CIS region. Under teams like Virtus Pro or Navi, right, that were fielding Russian and CIS talent. This is all of the events that Spirit have participated in the last 12 months, no matter who the coaches or anything, right? How many wins do you think they have? Don't look at the screen, okay? Close your eyes. Don't look at the screen. Type down a number right now. maybe 5, 4, right? They have Donk dropping 1.54 rating over 3 months. Surely they're going to have a couple of wins. It's 2. They have 2 wins in the last year, because before the last 2025 season 2 finals here, if we go to all time, we're going to scroll down. They have Cologne, they have Astana, they have the Blast Bounty, then that's Perfect World Shanghai. So they were on a little bit of a run. But what changed, right? What changed around Blast Bounty, 2025 Season 2 Finals? What happened? Well, obviously this was Zway's first ever competition, and then the team kind of went downhill because for some reason they couldn't fit people into the roster. Like, this is the issue I have with people calling Hally like the best coach or one of the best coaches, because the best coaches can make people work. They can swap people around, and they can create their system to be a lot better than it was before with new pieces in there, like Tanir. Like, when you bring in these guys, you're supposed to be bringing in them because they're going to fill the role that you're missing, and they just haven't done that. And the problem isn't the players, it's the system, because the system continuously stays the same, and what we see is that they rely so heavily on Donk to go out and win them games that when Donk has a bad game, they cannot win. It's almost physically impossible. It's 9 to 10 odds that they're going to lose if Donk has a bad game. And that brings us to this most recent event. They finished second. And it's not just second, it's that they lose to Mouse Clan. Mouse Clan? And it's just you let Mouse win. You let Mouse win. The biggest competition in this finals was probably FaZe Clan. Mouse, they looked kind of alright. But then you come out here and you just drop a stinker. You drop a stinker. 13-4 on Mirage? This is supposed to be like your map. Dust 2, your map. 13-8. We're getting 5 rounds on T-side on Dust? Really? On Dust 2, the team who has the best T-side win rate on Dust 2 is Team Spirit. And we're getting 5? Now that's probably good. That's probably good, right? Okay, 5 is good. In your premier games, this is like top level teams. And we're just losing to a Mouse Clan that, in my opinion, isn't good. Now, I've heard some talk, okay, that people think that Blast Bounty isn't that important. Teams don't prepare for it. Maybe. Because we've seen flukes happen, right? I think Mouse is going to be another Perry Vision where they win the first event and then they go away. But Mouse isn't the topic of today's video. It's this fucking fraud Hally. And what makes this even worse is that the second that you play a top team, you kind of look like dog shit. You look like dog shit. You didn't play any top teams on your way here. Let's just look at who they played, okay? They played FaZe, who've been a little bit better, okay? They've been on a little bit of a roll, but they're still playing with a brand new guy out of an academy team in J Bowen, who isn't the biggest stage guy. And who did they beat? They beat the Mongols, who are like basically in a rebuild. They got 2 young guys. They're not like at their top peak. This isn't like Mongols grand final, Austin Major right after that. No, this is Mongols after they lost Senzu, Mzinho, Techno has been playing bad. But hey, okay, so you beat them, right? Then you beat, to get there, you beat Team Liquid, who 2-0'd, by the way, probably one of your biggest competitors, Vitality. They 2-0'd Vitality, and in this game, you shit on them. You made Liquid look like the old Liquid. Everyone was all hyped about Liquid. Oh my god, look at Liquid. They're doing great. Spirit come in and you just bitch slap them. So you bitch slap a team that basically bitch slapped Vitality, told Vitality, hey, your era, yeah, it's over. Get the fuck off the server. Yeah, you guys, Unk is done, okay? That's what they're saying. We got Jorko now. We got Mr. Jorko jerking it, okay? And who did Mouse beat? 3D Max. Man, dude, 3D Max, watch out. They got Kersey on the rifle. Woohoo! And then they beat Astralis, who have basically got like some of the easiest games. Pain, really? Oh, but that's not all, because now we're at the online stage. Oh, but it's online. It shouldn't matter. It's online. Online matters because there's a lot of online qualifiers, okay? So I know they're like really high up, but like these are teams that you should be crushing. And we're going to go down here, right? Okay, who'd they play in the first round? Anyone know? It's OG. So if I didn't tell you what the score was, and I said, okay, Spirit played OG, what would you think the score was? Probably a 2-0, like 13-6 at the most on each map. Let's scroll down here. Let's see what it could possibly be. It's a 2-1 against OG. This was by far the worst team in the entire competition. I don't even know how they got here. They got a wild card invite. They must have been paying Blast that partnership money again, because for some reason they're at this event. And you crush them on the first map, 13-11, and then you nearly lose to them, 19-16. We're going to overtime against OG. Now, Adam B played his fucking heart out. But look at this fucking look at this difference. This is not a 2-1 difference. Donk has a 1.51, Shiro 1.24, Tanier 1.13. How are we almost losing the series? But of course, they got a little bit they got a little bit boosted, you know, from the cash game, 13-4. Because the other two games, watching those highlights, whoo, it did not look good. Because of course, this fucking game was played at like 4:30 in the morning my time, so I couldn't even fucking watch it. I had to watch the highlights. So they beat them. Then they beat 100 Thieves. They 13-0 100 Thieves on Dust 2. This is what I'm talking about. They 13-0'd them on Dust 2. And you're losing that bad on Dust 2 to Mouse Clan? Let's see who Mouse beat. Focus in the second stage. Whoop-de-doo. Focus. Who the fuck are Focus? They're like a pretty good tier 2 team, you know, but they just made 2 big roster moves with Pody, 6'7", and Joe Cab from Johnny Speeds. Pody's from the Ents team that they benched. And then they played probably like a team I thought that could beat them. Nuclear Tigers, right? And they beat them pretty easily. Nuclear Tigers, another tier 2 team that's pretty good, but people probably don't know about it, right? So it's not like Mouse went through high in hell water to get there. They played a bunch of fucking bums and low-level teams to get to basically the end, and everyone thought Spirit's gonna win. Nope, we have Hally back. We're gonna lose. Hally's back. We're gonna lose, because everyone, when they play with Hally, it's like they all got like. They are like get all proper and prim and wear like a suit to the game and be all nice and like super formal, because I don't know why, but he his aura, the way he coaches, they play so stuck up with him, especially against top teams, because they don't want to make a mistake, because I'm sure he probably just bitches at him through the fucking in-game mic. They played better with a fucking stuffed animal. They played better with their academy coach. They bring back Hally and they're shit. But you know what? Maybe I'm being too harsh on him. Let's look at the last event he actually coached. Blast Open Rotterdam. Now, what we're not seeing is Team Spirit at the top of the leaderboard, okay? We're seeing them down in 7th to 8th. But maybe they played Vitality or something. You know, maybe they played Vitality, you know, Na'Vi, who were kind of on a run last year. Okay, let's see. Okay. 2-0 Liquid. You should 2-0 this Liquid team. This Liquid team should have been 2-0'd into the dumpster and then shipped back to wherever the hell they came from and never let on the server again after this. Then you lose 2-0 to Perryvision. Oh ho ho! Look who's on the other team! If it isn't Sway. And what's this? Another Donk Masterclass, and he has his team all going under a 1 rating. This is like the most common thing ever if you watch a Spirit game. But look, Sway over there dropping a 1.32. Wow, I feel like I wish you could have that guy on your team. Man, he'd be pretty good. Okay, so we're gonna go down to the lower bracket. You 209Z, who are kind of starting to get on the rise a little bit here. You know, they beat Mouse. This was the start of their little run where they started to get a little bit of hype and then into the major. So pretty good win. And then you got 2 by Mongols, a team basically in the dirt. Okay, Mongols at this point, yeah, they're number 9 ranked. This was like a team 1 foot in the grave, 1 foot out. Techno was playing bad, Blitz was playing bad, and Zinho and 910 were really their only hope, because the Cobra Zero signing was terrible for him, okay? But what do we have here again? At least Shiro decided to show up a little bit, right? Tanier at the bottom, Zontix at the bottom, Magix, you know, I mean, he's the IGL, right? I'm not expecting Magix to be dropping 1.0s or above on this team, because you have Donk, okay? And you want to make Donk be the opener, the entry. I understand all that. He's the best player to ever lift this fucking game up, okay? And he's going to be the GOAT one day. But you need to help him. And it's so unacceptable. And yes, they're number 1 in the VRS ranking. Yes, they're number 2 world ranking. I don't care. I don't care. Blade is in the same position as this guy. If Na'Vi do nothing this season and don't perform well, Blade's on Fraud Watch. Because why did you not make a roster move? Which comes to my last point. Why did this team not make a roster move this offseason? The biggest issue is this guy right here, Zontix. Zontix is the problem on this team. He played terribly since he came back, and you don't even replace him. This is a team, by the way. You're not trying to find someone who can speak English or find someone to fit a mixed team. This is a CIS team, a Russian, Ukrainian. You speak the Cyrillic language. There is so much talent in the CIS region right now. There are so many guys under in tier 2 who can come up and play in a tier 1 environment on this team who are aggressive players. Anyone from K27, Zito, Quinky, you name them. Put them on this team, they're going to do better than Zontix. Hell, One Win just benched their entire team. I bet they were going to bench their entire team during the player break and knew it. You could have went and got one of those guys easy. Cronus, Ozik, Laddie K. I know Shiro is the opper, but sometimes Shiro is the issue too. Shiro has not evolved his game enough sometimes. He needs to play more aggressive because that's how oppers get shit done now. But you need to be aggressive if you're going to be in a team with Donk, because once Donk dies, the aggression of the team just fucking falls apart if Hally's coaching. When Tanir was playing at I Am Rio, he went and took up some of that slack. But that, to me, is one of the biggest problems. When I was like sitting here, I'm waiting over the player break. You got to do something, man. You don't win the major when you're on basically the high that you were on going into the major. You don't win that. Now, you had a hard side of the bracket, I'll give you that. But you in stage 2 and 3 were playing lights out. Playing lights out, you just destroyed everyone in all of those stages. And then you get to the playoffs, you struggle against G2, and then hey, you lose to the eventual winners Falcons. That happens, right? This major, by the way, is a fluke major for Hally. I don't give it to Hally, because in the finals, he got saved by a Magic's life game. They don't win that finals without that Magic's life game at the end. Okay, that Magic's life series, more like it. Okay, I don't see the hype around this guy. The more and more he has been gone from the team and you're able to actually see this team play differently, he is the problem. Hally is the issue. And the fact that they don't make player like changes as much is ridiculous. They cut Zway for less than what Zontix does. Zontix is constantly playing like shit every single game. He's always at the bottom of the leaderboard. It's either him or Magic's. Every game. And then sometimes he has a good map. Okay, give him that. But everyone's going to have a good map here and there. Overall, this guy is like one of the worst performers in tier 1. And you don't bench him for someone who's in the CIS region. You're literally in the best region. You're in the best region for tier 2 talent. It's no longer Denmark or Sweden. That's like 10, 15 years ago. It's the CIS region. That's where all these demons and Monster, Mountain Dew, whatever the fuck they eat in Russia kids are coming from, is CIS. And you don't pick anyone up. It's just crazy. I just think he's on fraud watch. I don't think they're gonna, even if they win anything, I don't care, because it's not about the wins. It's not about it's about the setup of the team. Now, if they go on like a crazy run and win like 2-3 events, yeah, that's a different story. But if they win like one event this whole season, you need to get rid of them, because one event with this guy on your team is fucking unacceptable. This guy's not going to be 19 forever. He's not going to be sitting on Faceit breaking records forever. He's at a 1.46 for 3 months, 47 maps. Like, this guy should have 2 majors, tons of like the reason this thing goes like this is because he has awards. They should go like this and even more. This should be higher, bigger than Simple, everyone in the scene. This guy is the top of the team, top of everything, top player in everything, and he's being wasted on this team who for some reason just does not know how to pick up players, does not know how to put up a system with players who they bring in, like Tanir from Heroic, who came out of nowhere on Heroic. He comes in, he was dropping like an average of like a 1.7, not a 1.7, a 1.17, 1.2 on Heroic. He comes in the Spirit, 1.05, and that's good for him. Before, he was at like a 1.01. Like, that's how low his average was for a while. If you think he's on Fraud Watch too, let me know, because I can't be the only one who thinks he's on Fraud Watch. And let me know what you think he can do to get off your Fraud Watch, because like I said, I would have to see a gigantic improvement in this team. They got to win at least a minimum of 3 events this season for me to be able to say, okay, this guy he can stay, because Falcons, they look shaky. Vitality, their air is going down. Someone needs to fill that void, and it honestly should be Spirit. Spirit should be having the kind of eras that Vitality are having when you have a player like Donk on the team and you pick up guys who perform very well. Even if you have a guy like Shiro too, who's a high performer as well. Like, he is like the sidekick to Donk, and they still can't win anything with like 2 of the best CIS players. And also, if you like Counter-Strike content and people who rant about Counter-Strike, hit the like button and then also subscribe, because I'm Praise Josh, and peace out.